Hello, hello, third class of the day, third and last class of the day. History class. Last week in history, we learned about what history is, yeah? That it's the study of the past, things that really happened long ago. And we learned two different things as well. We learned about something that is called sources. Yes, sources. We learned about two different sources. We learned about the primary ones and the secondary sources. Yeah? The primary sources, as you can remember, I'm sure, are the things, elements, bones, weapons, pots, pans, actual things they have found that have been from long time ago. They found it in the earth, and nowadays they've got it with them and they can study them. Those are the primary ones that come from a long time ago. They've got them now and they can study them, right? The secondary ones are modern things, yeah? They're modern things, such as books, yeah? Videos, right? YouTube is full of videos from the past. If you watch the television, full of videos and full of programs that are from the past. And those are secondary ones because those don't come from that period. They weren't made 40,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, 20 years ago. They were made now, yeah? About things from that period, about things from the past, right? So, those were the two things we saw last week. The primary sources and the secondary sources. Yeah? Good. Now, we're going to continue with the things we have to see. In the attachment, you will find these two pages. The same as last week. I know this is a bit complicated, right? Sometimes history is a bit more intense than the rest of the classes. But that's history, guys. And it's wonderful. History is amazing. It's super interesting. So, people who printed these out, follow the reading. People who haven't printed it out, no worries. Listen to what I'm saying so you can participate in the next activities. So, it says, how we discover prehistory. Prehistory, remember, before. Evidence is out there. We don't know a lot about prehistory. Evidence of what life was like that long ago can be difficult to find. Usually, only very hard things are left after thousands of years. Things like stone tools or arrowheads. If archaeologists are lucky, they can find human bones, like the skull. You remember that was on last week's page? Skulls. They have found skulls and bones 30, 40,000 years ago, imagine. And it's still here in the earth, somewhere to be found. Otzi the Iceman, frozen in time. Listen, because this is a spectacular story, guys. Sometimes softer materials do survive, but they often have sad stories to tell. I'm Otzi. I lived around the snowy mountains of Italy. I wore clothes made of fur and animal skins and had tools like daggers that I made myself. So, Otzi lived up in the mountains, very cold. He covered his body with furs and animal skins, and he made the tools himself. Archeologists think Otzi was alive around 5,300 years ago. 5,300 years ago. That is, whoa, so old. So far back in time. When he was about 45 years old, he died in the mountains. 45, I'm 38. Super young guy. Snow fell on him, and his body quickly froze. Like an ice cube. This meant that his body, clothes, and equipment, things, were kept safe for us to discover. Sad for Otzi, but interesting for us. How old is the evidence? Archaeologists need to work out how old the things they find are. When they find something, they don't only see, okay, what is this? Okay, it's a marker. What did they use it for? Oh, for writing, for coloring. Okay. They also discover how long ago they used to use the different implements, the different things. Here are 3 ways archaeologists do this. Studying carbon atoms. What are carbon atoms? Wait and listen. Everything contains carbon atoms. A special form of these atoms begins to decay, to break down, to undo itself when the thing dies. Scientists can tell how old things like plant remains or bones are by looking at how much of this type of atom it has. So, I die, right? And the more the time passes, the less carbon atoms I will have. But there'll always be some, yeah? And thanks to that, these super guys, the archaeologists, can tell if Miss Kim lived in the prehistory, with the dinosaurs, in the 1990s, right? Thanks to that, they can tell you the exact timing that thing or person lived. Seeing how deep it's buried. All these things, as you can see here, all the remains, all the findings, they have found them underground, under soil. And depending on how far down, how much they have to dig, how old it is. What do you guys think? If it's further at the top, is it older or is it newer? It's newer, right? it's very far down, that means it's super old and lots of things have covered it up because a lot of time has passed. Yeah? Okay. Archeologists dig down into the ground. The things at the top are newer, and things deeper down are older. Looking at what they're buried with, sometimes the things or persons are not just buried by themselves. They're buried with more things around it. Maybe all the materials, right? Maybe all the tools. Maybe some animals are close by as well. If stone tools are in the same layer as bones or plants, they come from the same time. Some scientists can work on how old they are. So, today's reading, we learned about evidence. How do we get the information? How do we get what we need to know about? 3 different ways. 1, carbon atoms. Remember, all the living things have carbon atoms. According to that, they can tell us from what period they were, right? How deep they were buried? Further up, younger. Further down, older. And the last one, if they've got more things buried around. I can also see one thing and the rest of the things, and I can get the whole picture. I can get the whole movie. Yeah? So, remember, the mail has all the information. Now, you're going to go and work in your workbook. It's there in the mail. Don't worry, super explained. If you need to go back to the pages, that's super with me. I have no problem. Use them. That's why I'm sending you these things. This is not a test. We're not testing you guys yet. We're just working, we're learning about things. And for that, we need to use them. Okay? So, use the things I'm sending you. Ask me questions. Look for me. Fill me with mails, please. I'm here to help. I want to help you. Yes? So, see you tomorrow in our next Zoom class. Tomorrow it's going to be a math Zoom class. So, I hope you come with all your energy. Super enthusiastic. Okay? So, have a great Wednesday. Bye. See you.